with respect, I think that a lot of the views that people parrot are derived from what I call CNN, electronic media lawyers. Now, is there any of us in this room who is not aware that at the time Emeka Ihedioha was declared, even the returning officer could not show that he scored the constitutional requirement of at least 1/4 of the total vote cast in at least 2/3 of a local government? On that criteria alone, there is no question in the eyes of the law, Emeka Ihedioha ought not to have been declared because he had those numbers only in 12 local governments. 9 local governments. And of course, you know you have about 27 local governments. So,
18.
as journalists, it's 9 a 2/3 of 27. So, INEC completely and irresponsibly misbehaved by using a professor who seems to be so senile that he didn't know that 9 is not 2/3. This is very serious. And because they take advantage of the fact that once they make a pronouncement, even if the pronouncement is made by a lunatic in INEC, you can't revise it. You have to go to court. And if it is PDP's fixation, rig them, let them go to court. And they just thought that they have a monopoly, that it is their birthright to continue to rig election. So the next time you see them talking, ask them, how many local government did PDP score 1/4 of the vote of the total vote cast in how many local government? That is not in the provision of the Electoral Act. That is in the express provision of the Nigerian Constitution. And Nigerian Constitution, each and every one of you should have a copy and read it. And then ask them to give you the results of IMU, even their own version, even excluding that of Governor Hope Uzodinma. You will find that Emeka ought not to have been declared. And for me, it shocks that nobody is interrogating INEC. And that's how they get away with this blue murder. This is to say nothing about the fact that INEC has not explained why did you not collect votes that were certified by the presiding officers, signed by the presiding officers, appointed by INEC in each of the 388 polling units. If there was anything wrong with those votes, INEC is on record as having had cause to cancel unit votes where they are dissatisfied. Those votes were not cancelled. They just choose to ignore them. So I think the issue in Imo, when I see people protesting, that is my primary constituency to do protests. But I don't run after a madman. When he's naked, I have to join him to run because I want to make a point. And that's the thing, we just allowed them to seem to have the monopoly of doing the sort of thing they were doing. Have you also found out what happened in Kano? Sorry, in Sokoto? There are a lot of issues that INEC cannot defend. But we have to live with the pain because look at Rivers. For some technical reasons, we are told we cannot even have candidates. And nobody asks questions. But because we are ruling party, we cannot go to the street and begin to protest those things. You also know another state where we won governorship, Senate, Rep, House of Assembly, Zafara. And the Supreme Court says, oh, our primaries were not perfect. Therefore, those who were not in the ballot box were declared. We have to live with that pain. If it is about mobilizing people to attack, we will pull out Zafara people to go and sack the Supreme Court, but that will not be responsible behavior in a democracy. So we live with the pain because we understand that we operate under the principle of separation of powers. So please don't accept those half-truths that PDP is parading. Please don't. You also know, and I think this is important, when I saw Secondus leading that protest, I was tempted to tell him who is the real Protestant. How did Wike, Emmanuel Udom, and I believe Dixon, how did they become governor? Supreme Court ordered the previous leadership choose to completely dismiss the use of card reader. That is what has brought a lot of mischief now into our electoral system. Because whereas the law recognizes the power of INEC to make bylaws, and those bylaws are enforceable in court, and there are judicial pronouncements upholding those bylaws, when they wanted to allow these PDP states to be returned, their elections having been nullified by Election Petition Tribunal, nullified by the Court of Appeal on the basis of the fact that they did not comply with INEC guideline with regards to compulsory use of card reader. Supreme Court, is looking for escape route for PDP governors, decided that the use of card readers, yes, it's on the INEC guideline, but it's not in the law. Can everything possibly be in the law? I mean, the same court recognized the fact that the Electoral Act, the constitution that set up INEC, recognized the power of INEC to make, rules and regulations for the smooth conduct of election. We have stomached all of this. First, because, as they say, two wrongs don't make it right. If we choose to question on the street of Nigeria all of the impurities that we have seen that affected APC negatively coming from our courts, there will be no peace anywhere. But we accept that somebody must bear the price for peace. That's why we choose to keep quiet. It doesn't mean that PDP has any valid case. And please, ask a bit, how many units, how many local government did this call 1/4 of the votes? These are not classified matters.
Okay, last question. It's my borders on security.
But if you are going to court, you must go to court to discuss or talk about number of accredited votes, including the excluded polling units. If you compute the number of accredited votes, inclusive of the excluded voters, the figures are correct. We went to court with an issue of exclusion. We didn't go to court with the business of election malpractices, violence, and that. So it is a peculiar case. My case is likened to that of Ujimowo and Ono and Mobirowo and Ajasi. Go and look at it. It is the position of Supreme Court that where an election has been announced in a polling unit, INEC is bound to collect the result and enter the result into the form EC8B. We went there with the two documents. From EC8A that was excluded, from EC8B where it was supposed to enter, and it's all clearly that the place it was supposed to be entered was left blank. So let INEC tell us what happened. Because if, going back to Supreme Court, of course, like you know, I'm a lawmaker and participated in the amendment of the Electoral Act. Election petitions are timed. As far as I'm concerned, the 60 days left for Supreme Court to look into that matter is already expired. So going back to the Supreme Court, I don't know where, I'm not a lawyer, however, but my little knowledge of lawmaking, I understand what is in the Electoral Act. So the Supreme Court is not a market square that you just anytime you wake up, you begin to go. But if you give a quantitative education, it's not education. When I say I'm coming to give education, I'm giving education as in education, which is education. So our people will qualitatively be educated. That is the target.
Thank you, Excellency.
Ensuring that everybody is, we are all safe as citizens. So then the national policies on agriculture, where they are collecting all the policies on agriculture to which they will bring. There's already a small technical committee. You know, my deputy governor was the vice chancellor, University of Agriculture, Umudike Umaya. So he's also an agriculturalist. He's now chairing a committee to come up with a full program for agri to ensure food security for our people.
The very last one.